Hey, in this video we're going to make a volleyball that falls around, and when you look at it and press spacebar, you'll hit it, but depending on where you look, it'll smack it away in a different direction. And we're going to use the vector cross product to do this. So you're going to have to do game object, 3D object, sphere to make our volleyball. Call it that. Add that rigid body to it. And we need a script. Right click, create, C# script, call it volleyball. And another one, right click, create, C# script, volleyball player. And attach the volleyball script to the sphere. So right now the first thing you have to set up is just to make this easier to test. Right now if I press play, I've got one chance to hit that volleyball, and now it's on the floor. So we're going to use Unity's built-in collision, on collision enter. So whenever the volleyball hits anything, I'm going to change its position to B. I'm going to assume the player is at the same spot as the camera, and we're going to add a bit of height. I'm also going to get the rigid body for the volleyball and set its velocity to 0. Otherwise, it'll fall down faster and faster. When it teleports back up into the air, it would have kept its downward speed and it would have sped up. Finally, I'm going to add a sound, but you guys don't have to do this. Okay, back into Unity, click on the volleyball. If you added a sound, then you can just click and drag to put on teleport sound. Okay, so now we have something to work with. Now when I press space now, or space now, I want to smack the volleyball, and it's going to change direction depending on where we look. So if this is the volleyball and this is us, I can draw a line from the volleyball center to our center. And let's say I'm looking this way and I press spacebar. Well, that's kind of like I hit the edge here of this volleyball and I kind of glanced off. It wasn't a direct hit. And if I hit the ball here, it's actually going to make it go that way a little bit. So what I'm looking for is then the volleyball should go in this direction. So if we open up volleyball player in update, well, first we're going to make try hit ball, because sometimes you're going to press space and we won't hit anything because it's too far. We're also going to need to get a reflected vector. So if we were to hit the ball, where would the ball go? It's going to be a reflection off of a line. And finally, get power is how hard we're going to hit the ball. So if it's too far from us, we can barely reach it. Maybe we won't give it much power. But for now, we'll just give 10 all the time. When we update, if we press space, then we're going to try to hit the ball. And here I'm going to disable jump. So click your player and do jumping disabled. I'm also going to make my height a little less, maybe 0.75. and lower the center of my player, minus 0.5, so that the volleyball won't hit my head as much. And I missed a bracket right here. So, how do we get this reflected vector? I need to get this blue vector using this green one and this red one. And you can see that if this red line was like a mirror, like a 3D mirror here, it's as though that green line were reflecting off of it to produce this blue thing, and that's what it's called. And if you go to a search engine and look up Unity Vector 3, and you can look at these static functions. So there's other linear algebra stuff. There's cross and lerp and normalize and project. Well, reflect is the one we want, but you need to give reflect a plane defined by a normal. So a normal is a vector 3. Well, this is how you define a plane in 3D. It's that line that comes right off it called the normal. So wherever this is pointing, the normal is always going to be this cube that's coming straight out of it. So how are we going to get this normal to tell Unity about the plane to reflect on? We're going to have to do two cross products. We're going to have to use two cross products. So we have one line and another line. And when you get the cross product, it's the thing that's 90 degrees from both. So it's as though this here were a plane, and the cross product is going to be the thing sticking out straight from it. So this might take a bit of work to visualize, but we want to get the plane of this red line if it were coming out of the screen towards us, like a mirror. So first we're going to get the cross product of the red and the green, and that's going to be a vector coming out of here towards us, out of the screen. And then we're going to take that yellow vector coming out of the screen and cross product with the red here. That's going to finally produce that normal of our plane. For the mirror, we're going to reflect the green, we're going to reflect it off of that yellow plane to get this blue arrow. So first we need that volleyball vector. This is going to be this red line here. So say we're at coordinate 250 for the ball and coordinate 420 for us. Then if we do this minus this, then we're going to get 4 minus 2 is 2. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. 0 minus 0 is 0. And this is the vector for that red line. So it's our position minus the volleyball transform position. Next we want the plane tangent vector. So this is going to be that line that comes out of the screen towards us from here. It's going to be the cross product of where we're looking and this volleyball vector. So the cross between the volleyball vector and where we're looking. Next we need that plane normal. So now that we've found this arrow coming out of the screen towards us here, we can use that to do the cross of this, and this will give us the normal of the plane. It'll be in this direction, but it'll be the normal of this mirror we're trying to reflect on. So we're going to get the cross of the plane tangent and our volleyball vector. Now we need to get that reflected vector finally. So we're going to take where we're looking, we're going to use that plane normal, and we're going to get the blue vector. We're going to reflect, so there's in direction and in normal. The in direction is where we're looking, and the normal is that plane normal. Now we're just going to return reflected, but make it normalized, so it's a length 1 vector. So in try hit ball, we're going to get power, because later we're going to change power. And if we have power, then we're going to hit the ball. Right now we always do, it's always 10. And all we have to do is find the rigid body of the volleyball and set its velocity to, we're going to get that reflected unit vector, times it by power. Finally, I'm going to add a special effect, but you don't have to do this part. So I just added an effect prefab. I loaded the prefab. And over here I made it that if we found something, then I'm going to make that effect and destroy it and put it on the volleyball. But again, you don't need to do that. So we save and press play. Okay, So I can hit it forward. If I hit it too high, it goes up. Hit it to the left, it goes left. And if I could try to bounce it around like a volleyball. Now, because power is always 10, I can hit it as far away as I want. And it's kind of hard. I can't see the center. I'm going to add a crosshair to the screen. Game object, UI, image. Maybe click 2D. Double click image. Scroll out. So I'm going to make this white square a lot smaller. I'm going to hold shift so it keeps aspect ratio. Make it really tiny. Zoom up. Right in the center. So now when I press play, okay, so there's how you make a volleyball. We have infinitely long arms right now. What? But in the next video, we'll adjust power.